What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Tribal Talk with Brooks and Will. Long time no see. Um, for those of you just tuning in, we had another live show last Monday, 4 days ago, Monday, 3 days ago. I can't do math. Discussing episode 3, and now we're back to discuss Survivor season 35, episode 4. So, should we just jump into it, Brooks?
Sure. And if you watched last episode, you'll know that I finally got a webcam. So I'm no longer the icon, but I'm still iconic.
Also, just a quick shout out to all of you who have been watching our videos. We've gotten a lot of really great response on everything for the most part, actually, and so that's been super cool. We'd love to, comment more with you guys. So definitely leave a comment about how you think the season's going so far. It's your safe space away from all of the fans on Facebook who don't know what's happening.
Yeah, we won't attack you like soccer moms. uh, but yeah, just to reiterate that, thanks for all the support. We've got 20 subscribers now, and I think we have 35 followers on Twitter. So
Yeah.
we're making our way up the ladder. I think our most viewed video was the cast assessment, and it had like over 600. So
yeah. So all of you should subscribe.
Yes, go ahead and do that. Just press subscribe because we recap every episode. We may be not always on time, but we do recap every episode.
We've been fairly okay at keeping it to Thursday evenings, just at varying times of Thursday evenings.
Last week was weird because I had technical difficulties, but all is cured now. So let's get right into episode 4, Will. And I gotta say, one of my favorite the best episode of the season so far. I think the season gets better by the episode, to be honest. And one of my favorite episodes of Survivor in a while. Like, I liked it better than the whole season of Game Changers. So make of that what you will. I thought there was a lot going on with the swap. I was sort of on the edge of my seat the whole time, and I had no idea what was going to happen going into Tribal Council. So well done to the Survivor players for keeping us on the edge of our seat. And we have a lot to talk about, Will.
Yeah, we do.
I guess let's go ahead. I mean, right out the gate, we have the swap. So
yeah,
let's talk about these new tribes. And I can't for the life of me remember their actual names.
I got you. I can remember them. I can tell you.
Oh, okay. That's going to be your job.
I got you. I only remember because I watched the episode this morning.
I used to say heroes, and now I can't say that anymore. So I was just going to say the blue tribe, but go ahead.
That's a Levu.
Okay. I'll probably still forget that, but so let's talk about. Let's wait until we talk about the blue tribe because they really were the starring roles of this episode. But let's talk about the yellow tribe. What
Soko.
are they called? Soko. Okay. Yellow tribe may be the tribe of most of the people that are getting winners edits, which is interesting if that tribe loses and one of them goes home.
It's gonna be painful.
But just to recap, the yellow tribe is Chrissy and JP from the Heroes, Ryan and Allie from Hustlers, and Rourke, who is all by herself from the Healers. So, Will, my Rourke stock is going down. Not that I bought any, but I'm not sure if that tribe loses. I mean, first off, we see Chrissy and Ryan, which we were wondering how that was going to go down.
Yeah.
And
CBS got really lucky with that happening.
And with them both, I mean, Ryan tells her, I'm the one who gave you the super idol. And
Hmm.
my take on that is that he generally wants to have an alliance with her.
Hmm.
Uh, and I think Ryan's a smart, savvy player, and I think Chrissy's a smart, savvy player. So that could be a powerful duo right there.
Yeah, that moment was super great. Like that was probably the most feel good moment of the season so far. Like from both of them, they just had a really good rapport. However, I did take a note. Let me find it right here. I believe that Chrissy's exact words were, "One more person to help me get further in the game." So like
But is she wrong?
she's not, but I'm just like it was super feel good, and I was like, oh, they're gonna work together. And then I like she said that, and I was like, mm, she's gonna get rid of him. Like they're that pair's not making it. But it was super feel good and super nice.
I yeah, I'm interested to see. I think I'm not getting the sense that that it could go south if they did lose. Like I genuinely think they're
Yeah,
going to work together, and
yeah.
I think we were being groomed for that.
Hmm.
Um, I the big question mark here is where does Allie come into play? Because
Yeah.
Allie and Ryan were pretty tight. So is
Mhm.
Allie? I mean, that's three people. I mean, those three are to me are getting the winners
Yeah,
edits.
the best
So
edits.
I'm like, they can't all three win.
But they
So
could be the final three.
well, that would be cool. But I'm just wondering, with I mean, I'm not sure if Allie and Ryan are in
Hmm.
it for the long haul.
I just
Um, and, and Allie really, I mean, I think she had a good relationship with Lauren, and now she's not on a tribe with Lauren
Yeah.
anymore. So Allie could, I mean, I don't think they would vote her off, but
Mm-mm.
if Rourke, I mean, if they were to lose the next two, let's just say Rourke goes home first.
Yeah.
I mean, Ryan could potentially flip on Allie.
See, so I I still love Allie, and I still think she's one of the best players out there. But I think that what we've seen in the edit is that Allie has been getting fewer confessionals, especially in this episode. And this is like
Yeah,
a
she
pivotal
got on.
episode.
This was her first episode. She got zero airtime. So
Yeah, because she got a little bit in this episode, and it was like right at the hype spot. Like it was, so the people when I look at the edit of the show, because like I'm not always analyzing it, but like I do kind of analyze it. Um, Especially on tribe swaps, the people who get the confessionals around that segment, so like right after they've revealed the new tribes, those are typically people who are like important to the storyline. And Allie did get one of those confessionals. Like she was one of the people that talked about the new tribes, but we didn't see her anymore after that. And I think that we're like gradually paling away from her a little bit, and it concerns me because like I don't think they're going to get rid of her. I think if Soko goes to tribal council 2 times before the merge, it's probably going to be Rourke and JP, um, because I think Chrissy's going to want to split JP and Ashley up before that could be a
see,
problem.
I don't think Chrissy will want to get rid of a hero because, especially now that the heroes are down two.
Well, but Chrissy doesn't trust JP. And Allie is a trustworthy person and a good social player, and so I think Allie could work her way in over the course of the next 6 days, theoretically.
I
And
don't
I think
know.
Chrissy would flip.
I don't think it's a case of she doesn't trust him, especially when you look at the preview for next week. But I'm thinking it's more along the lines of she thinks she can control him, which I think she can, because I don't think JP has a game going on, to be
But it
honest.
right, but if Ashley is still around, then she doesn't control JP. And we've already gotten shades of Chrissy and Ashley don't see eye to eye.
I'm not sure Ashley will be sticking around that much, though.
I still disagree. I think Ashley's going to be around for a while.
I don't
I
know.
guess we're operating under two different contexts. My context is that Ashley's still there.
I'm thinking of JP honestly as a like kin Troyzan kind of person that you just carry with you to the end because they don't do anything.
Well, but I think the difference there is that we saw a lot of Troyzan and Ken.
I think
And
we
this
are
is like
getting. I
this is
think
the
we're
third
getting.
episode in a row.
I think we're getting a. We're not getting game from JP, but we are seeing him being helpful around camp,
But we're
which
never
I.
seeing it through his eyes. Do you know what I mean? We haven't seen
Yeah,
anything from a JP perspective since episode 1.
he got some airtime in episode 2 and 3. He was invisible in this episode, but I think he's not vulnerable because he's not playing the game. I don't see like yeah, he's like this strong physical person, but I feel like if they don't want to lose, they need to keep him on the tribe because in hindsight, that's not the strongest tribe of the three. But
No, it really isn't. But they also have super fans on that tribe, and if they're operating as super fans, which is it's hard not to when you're out there and you are a super fan, they're gonna assume that the merge is gonna happen after 2 more tribal councils.
I guess I just have a hard time seeing Chrissy being willing to cut JP.
Hmm.
Um, especially when like she maybe had Alan in her corner and
Yeah,
now that he's gone she needs someone to replace him basically.
but why not replace him with
uh
Ron?
I but I think she needs, I mean there are like generals and then there are soldiers, if you
Hmm.
get what I mean.
Yeah,
And I just Chrissy's very much the general and JP is the soldier who sort of does
hmm,
whatever she wants. I mean, that's just my read on it. I could
right,
be, I mean, she may be willing to cut him. I see, I think the whole problem with the JP Ashley thing was Ashley and not JP. That's my read
yeah,
on it because I think, because JP really didn't care about, like he wasn't playing the game in a power couple way,
right.
but he liked Ashley, I guess.
Hmm.
But then Ashley was the one who was unwilling to cut him,
Yeah,
So I think Ashley was the problem there. But anyway, we don't have to talk about JP
right.
this much.
I don't know.
But
Because we were talking about him because we were talking about whether or not Allie was going to go pre-merge, and I feel like only one of I think that only one of the people that is at the forefront of this edit is gonna go home pre-merge, and I think it's gonna be Joe still. And so, if anything, Allie is making like I think that alone means Allie's gonna make the merge. Um,
yeah, I mean, this tribe could not lose at all. Who
yeah,
knows? But
which would be preferable. I'd love for Rourke to stay around too, but
they
I do
aren't.
agree.
They are the weakest of the three
Yeah,
as far
but
as
they
brute
work.
strength
Yeah,
goes.
they work together the best though.
They
Like
did work well together,
watching
but
Chrissy and Allie do that puzzle in the reward challenge was actually really cool.
yeah. Um, and if they do lose one, I still say Rourke goes home first.
Yeah,
But
I
so,
agree.
and may happen
Next
next
episode.
episode. We'll talk about that later. But
Yeah. All right, I'm looking
so
through my notes. Sorry, I'm trying to look through my notes because I take notes like in the order that I'm like thinking them when I watch the episode. I'm trying to find things that pertain to Soko.
Soko of the three, Soko got the least amount of
Yeah,
time.
and I think that's good for them.
Something about the color yellow.
Yeah,
It means you don't get much airtime.
yeah. I did note that Chrissy once again got the first confessional of the tribes. So episode 1, Chrissy got the very first confessional when they revealed the 3 tribes. Episode 4, Chrissy gets the very first confessional coming out of the tribe swap tribes. So like
Winner's edit.
I mean, it's all there. It's all there. We're gonna be devastated if this doesn't happen.
I do believe there's such a thing as like the fake winners edit,
Yeah,
which sort of brings me back to like Jeremy from San Juan del
yeah.
Sur.
Kelly
Like
Wentworth.
there is a fake winners edit,
Yeah.
which has me nervous for her. But we'll see how it goes. But
Mm-hmm.
anything else about Soko? They were the least.
They were the least represented yet.
Yeah.
Most of my notes pertaining to Soko just are about Chrissy. So like I did take one note that Chrissy is working her social game even on tribes that she is not a part of. As seen when Lauren was sitting in the ocean with Ben and was like, Chrissy seems really nice. I like her. I was just like, what? What? You've never even met her.
Um, and I do think it's very telling as far as next week goes. Well, I mean, there was sort of this acknowledgement that Rourke was in the minority,
Yeah.
and we did not see her form any sort of alliance, even if it wasn't a real one. We didn't
Right.
see any of that. So that sort of raises a red flag for me that Rourke is in trouble.
And
Um,
it does appear she got a lot of airtime this episode, and all of her airtime was her talking about how she was on the outs, which is always a red flag too. So
yeah. So anyway, let's
I'm really
let's
sad
move
about it.
on to the Red Tribe.
Yawa.
Yawa. So Red Tribe Yawa was Ben and Lauren. Well, Ben from the Heroes, Lauren from the Hustlers. So they're both the only people from their tribe, and then we got three healers: Cole, Jessica, and Mike. And once again, well, Cole and Jessica continue to be this very interesting uh, partnership that usually involves Cole doing something without Jessica knowing it, and then it all blowing up. So let's well, first of all, Jessica finds the advantage at the reward, where
Yeah.
because they won the reward, and uh, it's it's saying she can block someone from voting. She tells it to Cole, her closest ally.
Her lapdog. No,
Uh,
not her lapdog. I take that back.
um, and they so that's the assumption that he wouldn't go around telling everyone. And she also shared it with Mike, which
Yeah,
I thought was interesting
I did too.
because maybe that's a sign to the viewer that Mike is not. They don't think Mike is the big weasel that Joe was painting him out to
Yeah.
be, or they could just be making sure Mike trusts them so he doesn't flip on them. Either
Yeah. I
way,
was I was also confused because it didn't appear at the challenge, like the reward challenge, that Jessica and Mike got along at all. Like you could see them both very visibly frustrated at each other in the challenge, and I was like, that's not good for them.
I think it may have been a smart move on Cole and Jessica's part to include Mike
Yeah,
because they need him.
yeah,
And if that tribe were to lose, which I don't think they are going to, maybe they will. I'm not sure. Um, but if that tribe were to lose, you definitely don't want Mike flipping over to Ben and Lauren.
right.
And speaking of, Ben and Lauren form their little outsider alliance, which I like this. I like this pairing
Mhm.
because I like Lauren and Ben. Um, I think they're two interesting characters of the season, and Lauren is very perceptive. Uh,
Yeah,
I I am so glad she's lasting longer than I thought she would because I find something very there's something very genuine about Lauren. You can tell that she's just being herself. She's not hyping it up for the cameras or anything. So I like that about Lauren. But
yeah,
she's very perceptive, and she points out that Cole and Jessica go out into the water by themselves very often. And
Yeah.
I think that's a mistake on Cole and Jessica's part. I think it's just a repeat of like the Taylor Figgy thing as far as people
Mhm.
figuring out that you have a little showmance thing going on. So good on Lauren for figuring that out on the spot. But for some reason, Cole decides to tell both Lauren and Ben about Jessica's advantage. And then Lauren gets alone time with Mike and says, "Did you know Jessica had the advantage?" And Mike is sort of like, "What the heck? How did she find out about that?" So he goes back to Cole and Jessica and he's like, "Are you guys screwing with me?" Uh, and this was sort of when I was like, "Uh-oh, this tribe's gonna lose and Mike's gonna flip,"
Mhm.
because even though we really didn't get much airtime from Mike as far as confessionals go, but I still think he is the swing vote on this tribe, even though
Yeah.
that hasn't been declared. Um, but I don't know. Well, if you're Jessica, do you even tell Cole anything anymore? I
No.
mean, this is his second strike, to be
I
honest.
mean, at this point, she has to, but I wouldn't. I just I'm I'm very done with him. I don't understand. One of the notes that I wrote down, a lot of the things that I wrote down during that session of the show were just like I don't what is happening. One of the things that I wrote down though was that like it was a terrible move, like dumb, stupid thing to do. But I wrote down honestly, if Cole's intention was to sabotage Jessica, he would be playing a great game. Like by all like literally, that actually wouldn't have been a terrible idea if he were out to get Jessica. Like if he wanted her to go home, A plus, perfect move. But he's like her number one ally, and she's his number one ally, and so it doesn't line up in my brain. Like it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't think Cole is like gonna stab Jessica in the back by any
No.
means because I think he does like her and
Yeah.
trust her. But if you're Jessica, I feel like you have a hard time giving Cole information from now on.
Yeah.
And how can you work with that person if you can't really tell them anything, you know?
Right.
So I don't know. Cole is getting like a very negative portrayal,
Hmm.
rightfully so. But it just makes me wonder what the what the solution to this is. I mean, does Cole get blindsided? Like, does Mike flip? Because I don't necessarily think Jessica would vote Cole out, but I think Mike would vote Cole out.
Yeah.
So if this tribe were to lose, is Mike gonna flip on Cole and Jessica? I think it's possible.
I would flip, but I do also think that if say they don't go to tribal council at all until the merge, I think as soon as Jessica gets in with someone else, I think she'd cut Cole. I don't know that she would vote him out, but I think she'd let him go, and she wouldn't. I think she would push for him to go because he's bad for her game, and I think she knows he's bad for her game now. And
I
she
don't know.
seems to like genuinely be trying to play. So I think she'd get rid of him once she found somewhere else to fit in.
I kind of want this tribe to lose because I want to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm worried for Lauren though if they go. Actually, I take that back. I'm worried for Ben if they go.
I'm opposite. I actually think Ben is uh, a better social player than Lauren as far
Okay.
because I feel like Lauren can sometimes rub people the wrong way if
Yeah.
she doesn't want to work with you.
Hmm.
Like I feel like we saw Lauren bond with Allie and Ryan,
Yeah.
but these people are like very much not the same personalities as like Allie or Ryan, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
So I could see her butting heads with people. Um, I'm not sure where Mike comes in because if Mike was on the bottom of that alliance, which we've sort of been assumed, at least maybe Joe was really on the bottom, but Mike was definitely second
Yeah.
on the bottom. But if you're Mike, I mean, do you want to work with the healers anymore, or do you want to try to work with some other people? So I would be interested to see what Mike does because I think Mike's has suddenly gone from someone who's sort of in the background to a very important person on that tribe. So
Mhm.
it will be very interesting if they lose. I'm not sure if it's going to happen. I think the other two tribes are weaker than this tribe, but we'll see. I think this tribe got a lot of the muscle, but we'll see how it goes.
Mhm.
It just things do mostly come down to the puzzle, so uh, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Mhm.
All right. Well, any other thoughts on Yawa?
I think that my my Jessica stock keeps going up. It went up last episode. I think it went up more this episode. I think she's getting a really good edit now. We had that moment where she was crying, but it was like the good. It wasn't she wasn't crying for a good reason, but it was like a positive crying kind of edit. You know what I mean? Like because it was more of a like personal storyline as to why she was crying, not a game reason that she was crying. And I always think that that's a really positive thing. Um, they're showing her talking game. I think that Jessica's storyline is starting now, and I think we're going to see it go up at least for a while. And so my stock in Jessica as a player long term is rising. And I'd say out of the people on that tribe, um, she probably tops my list for contenders to go far.
Yeah, I think she is definitely the most important healer, even though I don't think a healer is going to win.
Right.
I'm not ready yet.
Still, I'm not ready to repeal it either.
I'm not ready to say she's getting a winner's edit because
Yeah.
bad things keep happening to her.
Yeah.
Stuff that she doesn't do herself, but people she's aligned with, which can in turn hurt her
Right.
because the actions, as we've seen in previous seasons, the actions of others can in turn hurt you. So we'll see. Uh, I think the best thing she could do is, uh, you know,
Convince
I'm not,
Mike to flip and get rid of Cole.
yeah, I mean, maybe even just to, you know, I mean, let's just say they both make the merge. Best possible scenario for her is to, if she figures out Cole's going home, to just lay low.
Yeah. Let it happen.
Yeah, I mean, they can date when they get home or
Yeah.
something, you know, so. Anywho, let's talk about the stars of this episode.
Mm,
The
the
most
the
the very
meteors.
dysfunctional tribe,
Yeah.
the blue tribe. What's it
Levu.
called? Levu.
Yeah.
Um,
We found the disaster tribe.
yeah.
It took us 4 episodes, but we found it. It is here.
So blue tribe is Alan and Ashley from the heroes, Joe and Desi from the healers, and Devin from the hustlers all by himself. So when I saw this tribe formed, I said, uh-oh,
Yeah.
Alan and Joe are gonna butt heads.
That's
And
too much crazy for one tribe. It's just too much.
and sure enough, they do bump heads.
Yeah, they do.
Well, first let's talk about Joe and Desi lying to Devin about Ashley and Alan wanting him out. First off, I mean, I get you're gonna try to get Devin on your side, but I'm not sure if that was the smartest
That was
move because it wouldn't make sense for them to want to get rid of
yeah.
Devin.
That So first of all, I just want to correct you. Desi didn't lie to Devin. Desi didn't know Joe was going to do that. Don't blame her for his dumbass mistake. Oh, I said a bad word. Don't blame her for his dumb mistakes. Shoot. Um, but you know what I mean? Like Joe just kind of pulled that out of nowhere. He was like, "You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to lie to him right now." And so he just did. Like I don't understand.
I don't even think it was a believable lie, though.
No.
Um,
No, it was a bad lie. And I think we're getting a very heavy edit of like, look how much Joe doesn't understand what he's doing. Like, look at all of the bad decisions he's making, even though he thinks they're all really great.
yeah, I feel like Joe is just, I mean, I still have such a hard time believing he makes the merge. I
I
mean,
mm,
I sort of assumed he was a pre-merge villain the whole
yeah.
time. And maybe he will go out sixth like Peter. But I always assumed, like, I thought this episode was like, okay, Joe's going home.
Yeah.
And didn't happen. But I just, I, I can't believe, I have a hard time believing Joe makes it to the merge unscathed. But the good news is he no longer has an idol,
Yeah.
so he doesn't have that protecting him anymore. But he could theoretically find the other one. But
He knows where
we'll
it is.
we'll see. Well, I wonder if they hide them at different places
Let's
uh,
hope.
to prevent something like that from
Yeah.
happening. So
Let's hope.
uh, I feel like they probably do because they hide. I mean, they hid idols in different places when in past seasons when it's
Yeah.
been other tribes. So
Yeah.
I feel like if that were the case, we would have seen him look for it and find it in this episode.
Yeah,
So
that's true. So that he
and
could
that way
protect both of them.
he could have saved he and Desi. So I don't think it's that. I'm kind of glad it's not that easy for
Yeah.
him. So
Me too.
um, he still could theoretically find another one. We'll see how it goes. I feel like Ashley and Devin are probably the ones out looking for one now, but
Hmm.
I think that whole tribe will just be one big idol hunt next episode. I'm
Yeah.
calling it.
Yeah.
So because I think everyone will be looking for it. So, but Joe and Alan, they have their big encounter
Hmm.
where Joe is basically saying, we're going to vote off Ashley.
Yeah.
So Devin was really uncomfortable with this whole like public forum about who we're voting off, and that's sort of when I think Joe really lost Devin. I think Devin didn't really believe Joe with the lie, but I think that seeing him behave in that way, because Devin is sort of this like chill guy that doesn't like to you know, what's the word I'm looking for? He doesn't like to rock the ship, really. He doesn't, I don't think he likes drama or anything like that. So to see Joe behave like that, I think he is when Devin was like, no thanks, I'm with Alan and Ashley. Uh,
Alan didn't really do himself any favors, though. He just happened to be correct, and so like I think it reflected better on him, but it was still a lot.
well, I mean, they're both the two biggest hotheads of the
Yeah.
season, and it would make sense to see them butting heads, but
Yeah. I
I
think. Well, I was just gonna say that I think that was part of the reason why this episode was so interesting, and like why I was on the edge of my seat is because every single episode so far has been, let's make a really big move, let's make a really big move, and then it's kind of what you expected to happen is what happens. And then prior to Tribal Council, they were all like, we're voting for Ashley, and then it was heavily suggested that the other three were going to vote for Desi. Like, so we went into Tribal thinking the votes were going to be between Ashley and Desi, and they ended up being between Joe and Alan. And I think that was why it was so like, what? was because we were essentially lied to.
It was very good editing.
It was very
And
good editing.
for a second there, I thought I was going to be right about who I picked to go home last week, and I was very excited about that at least. But close, but no cigar.
I
But
was also almost very correct.
so we get to tribal council. They hash out. There's no love lost between Joe and Alan, that's for sure. It gets to the vote. Devin thinks he has a secret advantage, but in reality, it's more of a secret disadvantage. Poor Devin.
Secret admirer ever.
Poor Devin. I actually don't dislike Devin as much as I thought I was going to.
Same.
But
I kind of hate it. It makes me mad.
But poor Devin didn't get to vote, and really, I think, well, it really wouldn't have done anything because Joe probably would have played the idol on himself anyway. Ashley did not do a good job hiding her facial expressions, and Joe even said that I read her face, which if I was playing, I would have read her face. I would have known. Ashley, bad move, Ashley. You need to work on your poker face, girl. But
please, all could have been saved.
He plays it. He plays it on himself. Alan goes home. This was a fun. Even if I would have liked Alan to stay and Joe to go, obviously, or even Desi. I'm not even that crazy about Desi if she went, but. It happens. So at least it gave us a very interesting tribal council, the most interesting thus far. And like I said, I was way more interested in this than anything from Game Changers. So I was very happy with this tribal council. I think if it keeps doing what it's doing and it gets progressively better week by week, I think by the time we get to the merge, this is going to be a very fun season. And Jeff Probst even said that it's sort of it sort of kicks up the heat once the merge hits. So
I am expecting Kagayan the resurrection. That's what I'm setting myself up for right now. So here's hoping I'm not let down.
It shall be interesting. So any other thoughts, Will, for you on Levu?
Actually, I thought we were talking about the editing a little bit earlier, and I think we mentioned a little bit last week about how we weren't really seeing anything from Rourke or Desi, and that was very bad for both of them. And I mentioned that I thought that was good for Rourke and bad for Desi, and I actually have completely changed my mind now. But I'm still worried that Desi's going to go home. I'm less worried now that all of this happened because I think Joe is back to the forefront because he doesn't have his idol. But I think that the edit suggested very heavily this episode that Joe was going to single-handedly tank Desi's game and have her sent home. And so I even went into this tribal council expecting that to happen, even though obviously that one of neither of them were going to leave. It just wasn't going to happen unless it was to Rocks or something because Devin couldn't vote. But we got the clips of Desi crying about how Joe had ruined her game. Girl was in tears, and I was like, that's not good for her. That heavily suggests that she's about to bite the bullet. And so I'm still worried going into the next episode about her. Not as worried as I am about Rourke. So I have changed my mind because Desi got a lot more airtime this episode. And I think some of it was good airtime. Not all of it was good airtime. So the clip of her crying about her game being ruined.
The tribe dynamics where they're basically in a literal tie, I think, benefits Desi, whereas Rourke is in the minority on a tribe of 5. So I think the odds of Desi staying are higher than Rourke at this point.
I think that too. Well, so here's my thing about this tie, because they suggested that they were going to go to Rocks next episode.
Let's just go ahead and talk about the previews for next
So like they're probably not going to go to Rocks next episode, even if they go to Tribal Council, because like that's dumb. However, I think that if they're smart, and it's Ashley and Devin, so like I don't think they're this smart. Um, but like, say I were in their shoes, I would be voting for Desi, so that when we go to Rocks, Joe has to draw a rock. But I think they're gonna vote Joe because they're dumb, and either A, hope that Desi flips, or B, not think about the fact that Joe then cannot draw rocks, and then Desi's gonna get rocked out of the game. So I'm worried that if they go to Rocks, Desi is going to be the person who goes home, and that's why we got so much Desi this episode.
I'm I'm not sure. I have a hard time seeing this tribe go to Rocks. I don't think anyone is willing to give up their game from someone at this point.
Right. I would hope
So
that Desi would flip.
uh, it would be something if Joe voted out Desi.
I mean, would be predictable.
Because I can't see Joe forcing Rocks, to be
Yeah.
honest. I don't see anyone. I mean,
Devin. I
maybe.
can see Devin forcing Rocks.
Well, I think maybe if you're Ashley, it makes sense because it's basically your last ditch effort. Because otherwise,
Yeah.
you're going home. But
Yeah.
I think Devin may be just entertaining that idea for Ashley. But I just have a hard time seeing them go to Rocks. I I could see Joe or Desi flipping on each other,
Yeah.
which I think would be fun to watch.
Yeah.
But I actually think, I mean, I think Joe could really screw Desi over here.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah.
It could also be
Red herring.
yeah, they could be, they may not lose. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
They could go all the way to the merge without losing again, which would be unfortunate because then we'd have to deal with Joe for at least 2 more episodes. But
I
like,
think maybe they'll lose it one more time. But
let's hope.
I actually think the Yellow Tribe is gonna lose next week.
Okay.
That's my hot take. But
Mhm.
so we also see in the preview Christy telling JP Rourke's trying to form an all girls alliance, and he's
Mhm.
sort of saying, "Well, we got to get her out." And I have to say, if Rourke is trying to do that, because we didn't actually see her say
Right.
that, but if she is trying to do that,
Why?
not the smartest move on Rourke's part.
No.
I think it would have made more sense to go to like
Aside.
a side, like heroes or hustlers, like
Yeah.
pick a side, and or try to court both of them and see if either of them give you the time of day. But the fact that she didn't do that, not the best move on her part. Again, we haven't seen her actually do it yet,
Right.
so it could very well be a red herring. But
Well, and I was actually going to say that. I have a conspiracy theory that because Rourke is a super fan, and what we've seen from Rourke so far has been pretty calculated. Like she seems to have a pretty like solid head, and that doesn't seem to me like something she would do. Although Chrissy and Allie are both magical survivor players, and so who knows? Maybe that would have been a smart thing to proposition to the two of them at that point. But they didn't show any clip of Rourke even initiating that conversation. So like part of me thinks that maybe Chrissy makes it up.
oh, I like it. Will, I like this theory.
But like, do you know what I mean? Because like, so there's every chance that this is actually what happened, and that Chrissy is like, okay, no, JP, we got to get Rourke out. But why would she need to do that? Do you know what I mean? Like, if Rourke is already on the outs because she's the only person without anyone from her tribe, she's obviously a target because she's a healer. Why do you need to turn someone like JP on Rourke? Like, why do you need to do that? He would just vote her out regardless because she told him to. Unless maybe they try to get rid of JP because they think he has an idol. And so Chrissy makes up a lie about Rourke.
I don't know.
I know we've talked about how we don't think she's going to cut JP. I don't know. I just think it doesn't make sense for Chrissy to be like, what do you think? Should we get rid of her? Because, like, obvious. Like she's the obvious person to go home, so they would like
I
clearly
have
target
a
her.
I have a hard time seeing either heroes or hustlers voting off another one of their own
Yeah,
when healers are still six people strong.
right,
That's my biggest
right.
that's my
I
biggest thing. Why vote out another one of the people that you started with
yeah,
when healers are six people strong
yeah,
and they all seem fairly tight with each other. I mean,
yeah,
I know Joe is on the bottom, but he was still loyal
yeah.
to Desi, so
I just think it's
at least
weird.
in this episode.
I
But
just think it's weird for like even for that reason that Chrissy would need to convince JP that Rourke would need to go.
I
Because
don't know.
even if that's true, she doesn't even need JP's vote because she would just have Ryan and Allie's vote. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think she wants JP to feel included.
Right.
So to make him, because I mean, if you remember back when she was forming all those two person alliances, I mean they did have something going on. He
Yeah.
didn't realize that it wasn't actually
Real.
genuine, but
Yeah.
they had something going on. So it wouldn't make sense for her to not talk to him, if you ask me. But
Well, I don't think it's that she talked to him. I think it's the way that they presented it. She was like, "Hey, so this happened. What do we do about it?" When like surely Rourke already would have been the target, right?
well, I guess they were sort of waiting to see what happens. Like,
Yeah.
I guess they were waiting to see what Allie and Ryan do.
Hmm.
Because I think, um, you know, Rourke could have been the technical swing vote, but I think if she is not playing that well as is being hinted at,
Yeah.
I think she could very well be voted off. And again, I can't believe if I was on either the heroes or the hustlers, I'd be like, we got to get these healers out. They still
Yeah.
have all their people. So, yeah, I'm I'm fully, especially if I mean you look at what happened at the other tribe. Are they like has Devin flipped to the healers? You know, I mean, there's or has
That's true.
Ashley? You know, so
Because they're the
I
only people who have no idea about the secret advantage.
yeah, they don't know about the advantage. So you see what I'm saying? It's just a bit,
Yeah.
I have a very hard time seeing another hero or hustler go
Right.
home.
No, I don't disagree that it doesn't like I don't disagree at all that I agree that it makes zero sense for her to be going after JP because they need the healers out. I'm just saying like it seems really fishy that they wouldn't show us anything about that being initiated and
We
that she
also
would
haven't
actually need to
seen
have that conversation with him.
we also haven't seen much of Rourke, and for us to all of a sudden get a lot of her,
Yeah.
I think that is a red flag for her departure.
Yeah. I hate
Again,
that though because I like her so much.
I haven't seen enough of her to feel one way or the
Yeah.
other,
I
to be
really
honest.
liked her
But
preseason. And what we've
she
seen of
was
her, I
fun.
really liked.
Um, but like I said, this episode we saw her. We didn't see her talk to anyone. It was all
Yeah.
about Allie and I mean not Allie, Chrissy and Ryan.
I mean, to be
So
fair, that could be why we didn't see her talk to anyone. Because like Soko was very under edited this episode, and when we did see them, it was mostly about Ryan and Chrissy because they're kind of like the golden children thus far.
I don't know. I
She's on a tribe of people who are very who monopolize the airtime. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So was there a preview for the Red Tribe?
For Yawa, um,
I don't remember.
honestly, there I think there was because I think there were three portions to it, but I don't remember what happened in it.
Was it just more Cole and Jessica?
Maybe maybe there wasn't a clip. This is
I
bad.
don't remember seeing something from the Red Tribe.
I thought it was a three-part. I really thought
I
it was
don't
a three-part,
remember.
but I don't remember what would have happened.
I don't remember
Wait,
seeing something.
I think we got something from Ben. I'm pretty sure there was something from Ben. I don't know what it was because I also read Jeff Probst said that we're gonna get more from Ben next week, and I think he was
Oh.
saying that because of something they showed in the preview. So like,
Hmm.
I think there was something, but I don't know how prevalent it was. But I'm pretty sure Ben was in the doohickey scenes from next episode. That's what it's
The
called.
preview.
The preview.
I can't remember. Uh, I don't think that tribe's going to tribal council anyway. So, uh, but that's previews for next week. So well,
Mhm.
who is who? Tell me who your best and worst players of the week are.
Okay. So we really didn't get that much good gameplay from people this week. It was very story centric, I think, for the most part. Um, but I'm gonna say that Jessica is my best player this week. Because I think in terms of strategy, I saw your face. I know you're grimacing. I don't dock her for telling Cole about her secret advantage because Cole is supposed to be her number one ally. So like it makes sense that she would tell him. And it's cool that she told Mike because she is saying to Mike, I trust you. The reason I'm saying she's my best player is because she chose to give her secret advantage to Devin, knowing that Devin was probably going to be the swing vote and knowing that it would save the healers because she knows that Joe has an idol. And so I think that that's genius, and I approve this message. Um, and then my worst player of the week, once again, is going to go to Cole for very obvious reasons. Need I say more?
Okay. So, uh,
Also, Joe. Tie. Joe and Cole, both. I mean, no, Joe did good this week, even though I don't like him. So I guess
he
just Cole.
saved himself,
Yeah.
so that's got to count for something.
Yeah. So I
Uh,
take it back. It's just Cole.
so, best player for me. I'm actually, I'm gonna go with the person I had last week. I'm gonna go with Lauren,
Okay.
and I think it's because she, if you can, I don't know how much you're picking up on it, but she was sort of planting the seeds of doubt in Mike.
Yeah.
And if Mike flips, I mean, that's going to be a brilliant move on her
Mhm.
part that saves both her and Ben.
Yeah. Oh, I meant
Because
to
I
say
think,
this.
what'd you say?
Oh, I was just gonna say. I meant to say this earlier. I am getting very strong Denise Stapley vibes from Lauren.
Yeah, Lauren's got something going on, and I'm very happy about it because I sort of thought she was going to be the second or third out, but here she is still here. So I'm going to be nervous for her every
Every
episode.
single week.
But
Lauren might go home next week.
yeah, but she's really she's like the secret good player. Like you don't expect her to be the one planting seeds of doubt in people, but she does it. She did it last week and she did it this week. And
Hmm.
I think that could be some foreshadowing. Maybe Mike does flip.
Yeah,
So
it's very Sari.
yeah. So I think it's very smart of her to come. I mean, we have that whole clip of her saying, he told me about his advantage, but I'm gonna use it to my advantage. And I was like,
Yeah.
yes, Lauren. So I'm excited to see how that plays out. Worst player, gonna have to give it to Cole. We sort of talked about it already,
Mm,
but each, I mean, he's running out of feet to shoot himself with.
no.
So
Yeah. I just eventually surely like are we just gonna keep saying every single week that he's the worst player until he goes home? What if he doesn't go home?
I think the best thing for Cole is to,
Stop talking.
I think his issue is he doesn't share things to be malicious. He's
Yeah.
just a very honest person.
Yeah.
And
Well,
there's some,
he shared this information because he wanted to make allies, not because he wanted to
yeah,
be honest. He was like, "It worked with Jessica, why wouldn't it work now?"
I'm not sure how many seasons of Survivor Cole has actually watched,
Uh,
but
yeah.
he's way too. He thinks everyone has his best interest at heart,
Yeah.
and that is just not true. So,
No.
I see a sad end for Cole whenever it does happen.
Yeah,
I still have him as like a good uh first vote off at like the
yeah.
beginning of the merge, you
I've
know.
read on Survivor Sucks that people like more and more are thinking that he is the final three goat
Oh yikes.
because we're getting a lot of Cole and we're getting a lot of Cole mess ups, but still like, oh, look how goofy and cute Cole is. Like you can tell we're supposed to like him.
I still think JP is the GOAT. That's my
We're just not getting any of him, and we normally at least get a reason as to why the goat should be there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I feel like Ken got a lot of airtime in the beginning,
And so did
and
Troy Dan.
then we just saw none of them. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It seems like I mean, Cole is such a huge guy. He's going to win all those immunities, you know,
Yeah,
if they let him get that far.
yeah.
It'll be another Brad Culpepper situation. So I have a hard time seeing them let a guy that huge make it to the end. But crazier things have happened. Uh, we've had someone leave without receiving any votes. So
Yeah, we
crazier
have.
things have happened.
Mm,
So
what a time that
okay,
was.
all right. Well, it is now time for our hot take of who goes home next week.
Okay.
Uh, I do you want me to go first?
Um, yeah, sure. I think
Uh,
we're gonna agree, but
okay. My hot take is that the Yellow Tribe loses and Rourke goes home. I I genuinely believe she's gonna screw it up.
mhm,
So, and there's still six healers.
yeah,
I mean, they got to go home at some point because I don't think any of them win. So,
right.
all right, well, what's your hot take?
I don't want Soko to lose immunity because I really like all of them. Um, and so well, I really like three of them. I kind of like one of them. Don't really care about the fifth one. Um, I really want Levu to go back to tribal council. And if that's the case, I think that Desi goes home. Um, but I do agree. I think right now the writing is on the wall for Soko to lose and Rourke to go home. So
Yeah, so that
wants
is
to be neither of them, just like last week when we
we were on the cusp of who goes home. We were on the right track. So
were we
maybe
though? Because I don't think either of us for a minute thought that this swap would send Alan home.
well, I said well, I if you remember back all the way at episode 1, I said I was thinking Alan was gonna go home early.
Yeah,
Not for these reasons, but I thought if they lost again, he would have went home.
yeah,
So, uh, I don't know. So I was kind of right.
yeah. Is it just me, or did this feel like I don't know? I feel weird about it. I know we said this last week too, or not we. I said this last week too, where I was like, it felt really weird for Patrick to go home because there was no foreshadowing in like previous episodes that Patrick was going to be going home soon, and so it felt kind of premature. I still am feeling that. Like I feel like it was too early for Alan to go home. I feel like we got too much good personable content. Like he wasn't getting the Jeremy Collins edit, but he was getting something like he was getting shades of Jeremy Collins edit um, after the first episode. And so I don't know. I feel really weird about it. Am I the only one that feels really weird about it?
I think it is weird that we got so much Alan and then didn't really get anything, only for him to go out fourth.
Yeah,
But at the same time, that does kind of make sense because Survivor editing lately is not kind to people who go home in the pre-merge. So
that's true. It just
it
I don't
I
know. It's so weird because we were so set up for Ashley and Alan to like genuinely make up and work together going forward. That's what we were set up for. They were literally talking about how they were willing to fall on the sword for each other at this tribal council. It would have been beautiful.
was
I'm
not
really
meant
sad about it.
was not meant to be. Although, did you see where Jeff Probst says he would like Alan to play again sometime?
It's
So
Kagayan Part 2.
So we may see Alan out there. Who knows? He may be like the Kelly Wentworth of this season. Who
You
knows?
never know.
So,
Let's just hope.
actually,
Let's hope that neither Chrissy nor Allie are the Kelly Wentworth of this season in either form. Because we haven't reached either of the Kelly Wentworth boot episodes. That was episode 5 and episode finale, Final Four.
all right. Well, any other final thoughts on episode 4?
I'm so excited. This season is so good. Why don't people don't like it? Why don't people like it? I don't understand casual viewers.
I've been fairly pleased with this season. I like it way more than last season. So.
It's definitely. I personally, I like it better than Millennials versus Gen X at the moment.
I'm not there yet.
Well,
but,
I don't like it. I don't mean like season like as a whole, but just like if you compare the first 4 episodes to these first 4 episodes, I prefer these first 4 episodes from like.
Ooh, I don't know. Episode 4 of Millennials versus Gen X is one of my favorites.
That was okay. So yeah, that was a good episode, but this was also a really good episode.
Which also involved an idol play.
Yeah, this is also a really good episode. So maybe it's just episode 4s. It's just the 4th episode of every season. Who went home 5th on Game Changers?
I believe it was JT. Or no, it was Sandra. No, it was JT.
Was it Malcolm?
Malcolm was 4th.
Maybe it's just the 4th boot. It's the 4th boot. That's who gets all the excitement going.
But I'm enjoying it so far. Yeah. We'll see what happens next week. I think the tribe switch was very interesting. I think people are thrown all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone is in total complete dominant control, which makes things interesting. So I was very pleased with how that worked out. So we'll see what happens.
I have a proposition for you. What? Do you think they're still going to merge at 13, or do you think they'll merge at a smaller number?
I thought they would merge at 12.
Okay, I've seen some people who were speculating they'll merge at 11. Which would be interesting, because what if they have another tribe swap? What if there is a swap from 3 to 2?
I'm convinced it's 12. And yeah, I'm convinced it's 12. I'm just basing that off the last 18-person season. So.
Right. I don't know. I kind of want there to be another tribe swap down to 2. It worked really well in Cambodia. It left the game pretty wide open.
I'm comfortable with these tribes just sticking until the merge. Yeah. All right. Well, any other thoughts?
I'm good. I'm ready for next Wednesday.
Well, that's going to do it for our episode 4 recap. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on Twitter at Tribal Talk. And we will see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.